What the fuck is up, everyone? Prison Meddler here, back with a reviewing every album series, and today I am reviewing Periphery. Yeah, I've been quite wanting to do this for a while, so it's going to be a shorter video this time since there is 7 albums. Yes, I'm splitting the Juggernaut album, so as let me know, 0 out of 5 being the worst, and 5 out of 5 being the best. And before I begin, I'm going to let y'all know I'm not reviewing EPs, compilations, demos, or live albums. Just the full-length studio albums only. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. Alrighty, starting up, we got is their self-titled debut, Periphery, released April 20th, 2010, with 3 singles released. Icarus Lives, Jetpack were released April 23rd, 2010. Jetpacks was Yes, released January 21st, 2011. And Passenger, released February 21st, 2012. Now, as some of you know, this is the band's debut album, and it's alright. I don't know what else to say. It's alright. My main problem is the album is just way too long. I think it's their longest album. Production is good. I like the sound, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is my least favorite Periphery album. The main reason why is there's plenty of filler songs, and I'm just not a fan of the singer Spencer Sotelo clean vocals. It sounds way too froggy for some reason. It kind of sounds like he's recovering from a flu or something. I don't know. It sounded like he had a really bad cold or something. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if he had a really bad cold while making this album. I'm not 100% sure, but it do seems like it. But there's plenty of songs that actually do hit. Like, I do like The Walk. I do like that song. Letter Experiment is cool. I find Light to be a pretty underrated song. Icarus Lives is solid. I do like All My Feelings and Xylorex. I never cared for the song Race Car. Oh, but that song is like 15 minutes. It's the longest song on the album. So, just because it's the longest song, that doesn't automatically mean it's good. That doesn't automatically mean it's the best song, okay? But other than that, is this a bad album? No. It's alright. I just think it's an alright album, and I just think I think the albums after that are better. So I'm going to give this album a 2.5 out of 5. It's an alright record. I just think there's better albums than this. So yeah, my main problem with this album is just Spencer's vocals, which just sounds really froggy, and it kind of sounds like he's recovering from a really bad flu. So yeah, alright album. Alright, next up is Periphery 2. This time is Personal. Released July 3rd, 2012. With 3 singles released. Make Total Destroy, released June 5th, 2012. Scarlet, released February 20th, 2013. And Ragnarok, released October 3rd, 2013. And official thoughts on this album? A lot better than their debut album. A major improvement, to tell you the truth. Pretty much all songs are top notch. Like, it starts off with a 3-minute track, Muramasa, and then we got Have a Blast, which definitely bangs. I also love the song Scarlet. That song is definitely a hit song from the album. I also love the song E-Rise because that song features John Petrucci from Dream Theater, which is a great guest on this album. And yeah, I could say this is definitely one of their better albums. I don't know if it's their best album, but it's kind of close up to that level. So yeah, I love the song Jive. Facepalm Mute's great. I do like that. I pretty much like almost all of the songs from this album, including the instrumental Epcot, which is basically the outro for E-Rise, which is a 2-minute outro. But yeah, I love the solo from the song E-Rise from John Petrucci. He was phenomenal. Make Total Destroy, great catchy chorus. Yeah, all I have to say is Spencer's vocals did improve. Production is also proved. Yeah, this album is a massive upgrade from their previous album. So I give this album a 4 out of 5. Kind of leaning towards a 3.5, but it's 4 out of 5. Yeah, 4 out of 5 because I pretty much like all the songs from this album. So yeah, I think it's a really great album, and it's definitely an improvement over their previous album. Alrighty, next up we got is Juggernaut Alpha, released January 27th, 2015, with only 3 singles released. The Scourge, released November 21st, 2014. 22 Faces, released December 16th, 2014. And Alpha, released January 5th, 2015. Really great album. As you may know, this is a concept album. It's a double album released along with Juggernaut Omega, but right now we're reviewing Alpha. They're released on the same day, but I think they're separate albums. Alpha is part 1, Omega is part 2. They're released on the same day, but I think they're separate. So that's why I'm putting them as separate. So yeah, tons of great songs. A Black Minute, which is a great opening build up. It's full of memorable hooks too, catchy ass choruses. Heavy Heart, The Scourge. Pretty much most of the songs on there. Maybe a little bit of filler songs, but not a lot. I think this is the band's shortest album or their second shortest. The album is a lot shorter from their first 2 albums, that's for sure. But it's still a really pretty solid album. I mean, a pretty good album. It has a lot of progressive moments, as you may know. The vocals is pretty much the same as their previous album, but yeah, I pretty much dig it. I dig the album. Tons of songs. 22. I find Rainbow Gravity a really great song too. Psychosphere is solid. Psychosphere is pretty much like a little bit like a cliffhanger to their next album, which is released on the same day. But yeah, I definitely think this is a really good album. I would give this a 3.5 out of 5. It's not quite as strong as their previous album, but it's a really good album. I wouldn't complain at all about this album. So yeah, again, it's a 3.5 out of 5 for me. Kind of lean towards a 4. I'm not quite sure, but it's a 3.5 out of 5. Definitely a good album. All right, next up we got is Juggernaut Omega, also released January 27th, 2015, with 2 singles released. The Bad Thing, released December 4th, 2014, and Graveless, released December 31st, 2014. And honestly, I think this is a little bit better than Alpha. I do love the vocals from Spencer. I love the songs more. I pretty much love all songs. And yeah, I think this is the band's shortest album, clocking in at 39 minutes. So yeah, definitely pretty much like a conclusion to the Juggernaut series. Love the song Bath. I love the song Stranger Things. The chorus is catchy as hell. I just love the melodies throughout this album. Omega's pretty great song. It's a 12-minute song, but it's pretty solid. I don't know what to say. Pretty much all songs are pretty great for the most part. So, yeah. I mean, is this like a masterpiece or anything? Probably not. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but it's a really, really great album. I would definitely go back to it. And I pretty much had fun with it. So, yeah. Like I said, it's basically part 2 of the Juggernaut series. And kind of closes it up. So I would give this album a 4 out of 5. I think it's a pretty great album for the most part. Yes, I think it's better than Alpha. A little bit better, not a lot. So, yeah, pretty great album for the most part. Alrighty, next up we got is Periphery 3, Select Difficulty, released July 22nd, 2016, with only 3 singles released. The Price is Wrong, released May 25th. Flatline, released June 24th. And Marigold, released July 8th. Now, with this album, nowhere near as good as their last 3 albums, but I do think it's better than their self-titled. This album pretty much leans towards their radio-friendly sounding type album, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's not terrible or anything. It's just pretty solid. It's one of those albums where you just care for the songs and not much for the album in general. It doesn't sound more like, unlike their previous albums, the songs doesn't seem like they connect well with each other, but there's plenty of bangers throughout this album. I'm not gonna lie. Price is Wrong do hit. I do love Flatline. Flatline's an underrated song. Habitual Line Stepper's great. The Way the News Goes, to be honest. And there's a few songs, most of the songs like after Flatline, I just don't really care about. I never cared for the closing track, Loon. I honestly find the song a bit boring. But many of the songs on here do hit. Like, I do love The Price is Wrong. It's really a heavy track. This album kind of has more of their simplistic type sound, which is nothing wrong with that. It's kind of like, I'll admit, I did like this album at first. This was kind of my favorite. That's because I didn't really get the band's discography at the time until I learned forward to it, and I started to like these albums more than I do with this album. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty great, solid album. It has great production, great vocalists from Spencer, so I wouldn't complain about the production and all that, or the mixing. It's just, I don't feel like the songs on here are quite as strong as their last 3 albums. But I do like pretty much like 75% of the songs on here that do kind of hit, and 25% of the songs are just kind of boring. So I would give this album a 3 out of 5. Despite the fact this album came out a year and a half after their Juggernaut albums, it kind of sounded little bit rushed, but not a lot. So, yeah. Also notice this is their last album with Adam Getwood as official member to lead the band. However, he would still continue to perform bass on studio sessions, as well as production on the other albums. So, yeah. Select Difficulty, not quite as strong as their previous album, but it's decent. Alrighty, next up we got is Periphery 4, Hail Stan. Released April 5th, 2019, with 2 singles released. Blood Eagle, released February the 6th, and Garden in the Bones, released March 1st. And to be honest, I honestly think this is the band's best album, in my opinion. First of all, the fucking song Reptile. Holy shit. That song is fucking amazing. The 17-minute epic track. No, it's nothing like Race Car. At least it wasn't a filler 15-minute track on Race Car. But Reptile, masterpiece song. I'm not going to lie. And then Blood Eagle and Church Burner sounds like they were heavily influenced by the Dillinger Escape Plan. And then Garden Bones, pretty much of a hit song. It's Only Smiles is good. It's mainly about Spencer's deceased sister, which I don't know what happened to her. We got Follow Your Ghost and Crush, which is pretty much like a industrial type song. And then Satanic Glow, which sounds like a metalcore type song. And then we got Satellites, which is a great way to end the album. So, yeah, this is a much better album than Periphery 3. I definitely think this may be their best album. Again, it's kind of like, I don't know. There's not one weak track on this album, to tell you the truth. But I'm definitely blown away by Izomino. Of course, the fucking song Reptile. Easily my favorite Periphery song of all time. And no, it's not because it's long. Just listen to it and you'll get what I mean. It's just epic as fuck. That's why. But other than that, is the album in general a masterpiece? Not really. I mean, again, Reptile is just one song. I mean, it's still a great album. Don't get me wrong. And I honestly think this is their best album. But, I mean, I wouldn't complain about it. There's nothing to complain about this album. It's just a really strong song to start away with an album. That's all. But yeah, I definitely think this is a really great album. I do like all the songs, so I give this album a really strong 4 out of 5, kind of leaning towards a 4.5. So yeah, I definitely think this is a really great album. Honestly, I personally think this is their best album. So yeah, case closed. Alrighty, next up we got is their latest album, Periphery 5, Gent is Not a Genre, which is a fucking stupid ass name because it is a genre. It's a subgenre to prog. Released March 10th, 2023, with 3 singles released. Wildfire, released January 12th. Zagdrias, or I can't pronounce it. Also released January 12th, and Atropos released February 16th. So, yeah, pretty good album for the most part. Starts off with Wildfire, which is absolute great song. Atropos is good. Wax Wings, I find Wax Wings catchy as hell. I really love his vocals, and I just love the instrumentation and the melodies throughout the song. Okay, let's talk about this song, Everything Is Fine. What the fuck did I just hear? That's fucking amazing. I mean, first of all, it sounds like it's heavily influenced by the Dillinger Escape Plan. And I'm about to review every album by Dillinger Escape Plan, which I really love that band. And Everything Is Fine sounds like it's heavily influenced by the Dillinger Escape Plan. And okay, let's talk about the next song, which is probably the worst Periphery song ever. Still Howard, or however the fuck you pronounce it. Sounds like a fucking pop track. I don't know what the hell was that. That's like the worst Periphery song ever. And I always skip that song. Dying Song's decent. And then we got Zagreus, or however I fucking pronounce that name. Really great song. Pretty much every song after Dying Star is great. But yeah, not as good as their last album, but it's still a pretty strong album. So yeah, I would have given this album a 4 out of 5 as well, but due to the song Zillhauet with that, or how do we pronounce that name, so I apologize for that. Because of that song being on the album, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. Because if that song is out of that album, then this would have been a 4 out of 5. So, yeah. Plus, I mean, it's not one of the reasons why I would rate this. Plus the album title, which is really fucking stupid. Gent is not a genre. Like, really? Is that supposed to be like a joke or something? But I don't know. But yeah, but other than that, it's a really fun listen to album. Really good album. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to complain for much except for that one particular song with that poppy sounding track. But other than that, the album is enjoyable for the most part. So yeah, definitely dug the album. Alright guys, so that is my reviewing of every Periphery album. So, what is your rating on them? Let me know in the comments. And yes guys, that's the video. So, I'm going to go ahead and get the fuck out of here. So, I'm out.